chapter 4 about to come out for Boruto, and we already know his secret ability and what abilities are going to be available in Boruto's arsenal, because he already used Yusiko, or what is it called, Uzuhiko, and now he has the flying, what was it, basically Minato ability. Yeah, that shit, he could literally teleport. Cause yeah, if y'all haven't seen the leaks, bro, y'all missing out. But check out the leaks on Twitter, bro. That shit looking fire. Today's video is gonna be watching Kishimoto reveals Boruto the villain code and Ten Tails fusion. And if you haven't seen the leaks, like I said, check them out, because there's new abilities that the Ten Tails has fused with different enemies. So just check that out. And let's get straight to the video.
For everyone is on the verge of taking place, as Boruto will fail in preventing the future he saw with his newfound powers. With the new look on the Ten Tails and code making his way to it, it all seems to foreshadow what we thought. A new villain is on the verge of creation, and this is the villain that will take over from Code, allowing him to take either his first W or his final L. This new villain was foreshadowed in the very first arc of the Boruto series, and in the arc to come, we have been given clues and hints to the creation of this new villain. One of the biggest pieces of foreshadowing was in the Kara arc, where we learned about the names of various Kara members, and later on we learned about Ida and Damien, which gave us the first clues as to what this new villain was actually going to be about. So let's first discuss the name of Ida and Damien. Starting off with Ida, a lot of people don't know, but her official name isn't spelled Ida with an E. It is actually spelled Ida with an A, as Ada, Ida. It is
Ada. So it's gonna be, so there's new villains that's coming to Boruto. That's interesting. I hope this new villain, I low-key feel like it's gonna be a very powerful opponent. You know, because it's like, it's no wonder why Boruto is so strong and overpowered as a protagonist.
Actually,
especially during a time skip.
Mistake by Viz Media, but they have just kept using this translation over and over again. But what's very interesting is that when you pay attention to Ida's official name, you would see that it comes from Ida Lovelace, who is regarded as one of the first programmers out there. And with Ida's ability to make people fall in love with her, we can already see the ties with Ida Lovelace, as Ida Lovelace has love in her name, which may have inspired Ida's ability to make people fall in love with them. Same goes with Damien, which is a program that runs in the background, just like his ability works in the background and reflects attacks that are thrown at him. Bug, like the name would suggest, is based on a bug that occurs on your computer, which reflects his role in the story. Later on, we find out the truth about Ida's ability, and it confirms that technology has definitely had a major impact on the writing and the creation of the characters that we see in the Boruto series. Momoshiki says this about Ida's omnipotence ability. Omnipotence is the ultimate power that only an omniscient and omnipotent God can control, a divine technique. It is said that God used it in the process of creating the world, a programming language for creation, so to speak. The absolute will that materializes everything, that is omnipotence. As you guys can see, almost everything that we are being introduced to has some sort of ties to technology. Even the very complex ability that is omnipotence.
Low key, and it makes so much sense. That's like, this new technology that's happening in Boruto, the new next generation, is the reason why like niggas is overpowered like left and right, and Boruto is like OP as fuck. And not to mention, even Sasuke and Naruto has to compete with this shit. Like, no wonder why niggas is getting overpowered, bro.
Also has ties to technology and programming. We have seen this over and over again. So this is already giving us the clues as to what Kishimoto and Ikimoto are cooking up for the series to come, and especially this new villain. But let's continue. In the Momoshiki arc, we learn about the usage of technology and how ninjas are supposed to use and deal with.
Yeah, I was just about to mention the Boruto, him using the ninja tools and like learning how to use the technology of ninjutsu. That was the first clue because I noticed, I was just about to mention that the ninja tech. I was gonna mention that because he did use that during the Chunin exam when he cheated, and then Naruto caught him.
Boruto's experience with technology caused him to have a negative outlook on technology at first, as he was using technology to skip past the hard steps that he had to take in his life as a shinobi, just like Momoshiki skipped out on training by creating and using his red pills. The impact of their actions are shown in this same arc, where Boruto ends up losing the right to be a shinobi and Momoshiki loses to Naruto, Sasuke, and Boruto. These things happening cause Boruto to see technology as a negative, but in the AO arc we have shown how technology can also be used for good, as we see how it positively impacts other people's life, like the dog who got a new leg, like Ao who got his body reconstructed, Naruto who got his hands fixed. We saw multiple examples of technology being used for good. And at the end of it, Boruto faces up to the facts and realizes that technology can be both used for good, like he has seen in this arc, and for bad, like he has seen in the Momoshiki arc. And it helps him to realize that technology is neither good or bad, and it depends on how you use it. This showed
they use it for good, like, you know, because for example, when Boruto used the ninja tech to cheat in the Chunin exam, that was a bit used for bad. Now if you use it for good, it could definitely benefit Boruto in a way to help him succeed in whatever he's trying to succeed in his mission.
A lot of growth in Boruto's character, especially when it came to his outlook on technology. And a lot of characters that we have seen ever since that moment have a lot of ties to technology and what Kishimoto is trying to cook up with this new villain. The same goes for characters like Amato, whose name is derived from a company that manufactures different compartments that are used for computers and various different technology, as Amato's name is derived from a company named AMD that manufactures different compartments that are used for computer and various different technology. We can already see how AMD and Amato go together because that's where his name comes from. And what is very interesting is Amato is the one who is behind the creation and the enhancement of most Kara members. We can already see how his name was influenced by this company. There are multiple different examples of this over and over again, but you guys already understand the point. The thing is, we are shown how when technology is in the right hands, it can be used for good. However, most of the examples of technology in the Boruto series has been mostly for good, apart from Boruto losing the right to be a shinobi after he cheated in the Chunin exams. Apart from that instance, we have been mainly showed how technology can be used for good. And this is foreshadowing the moment where we are going to find out how technology can be used for bad. And this leads me up perfectly to the villain that is on the verge of being revealed, as he will be the complete embodiment of the negative side of technology, as the villain that Kishimoto is cooking is one that is based on how technology, AI, whatever you want to call it, could, if left on control, evolve and learn how humans work and eventually take over. As there is a lot to discuss when it comes to this actually being foreshadowed in the chapters that we have seen in the time skip. I won't lie, this was brought on to me at first by a comment from Alessandro, who said where AI is taking over and eventually opposes their masters, who are humans, and in this case it would be code. This is what really allowed me to connect the dots and the foreshadowing that was out there, because there is a lot of foreshadowing for this act, which is where Boruto tells Code to get rid of the clawgrams while he still has control over them.
But there's still time. You held the ropes to hold them. You can annihilate them right now. Otherwise, they're headed for the worst future for everyone can imagine. That's a good clue. And he's right about this because he did tell Code that. And look what happened. Then the Naruto's created these fusion-ass creatures. And now they have to face the bigger threat.
This tells us and foreshadows that there is a future that awaits everyone, which has to deal with Code losing control over the Ten Tails and the clawgrams. But Code, dumb as ever, says that he believes that they are simply his tools and nothing more. This sentiment over the clawgram that Code possesses is one that is often depicted in movies, where the general population views AI or technology as simply a tool. and then when given time to evolve, it eventually comes and takes over. This scenario really mirrors what is going to happen in the Boruto series, especially for Code and the Clawgrams. Also, pay attention to Code's name. What is a code? A code refers to a set of instructions or system of rules written in a particular program language. Code, with his white karma that possesses Ishiki's DNA, will be the set of instructions that will help the Ten Tails evolve into a whole new entity that even Otsutsuki's may be afraid of. Code is the software or the set of instructions, while the Ten Tails is the hardware. Those two things coming together will give birth to a fully working system that will be able to operate any task it desires and take over any goal or any plan that it wants to do. As this new villain,
Oh nah, that makes so much sense. Cause if you think about it, it's like the Ten Tails can low-key deadass but take over, because it literally is taking over. It have two strong ass creatures that literally try to kill Code and Boruto. Like, it makes sense of how Code is feeding the Ten Tails and how their plan is coming together. Like, that is mind-blowing.
Is something that may have never been seen in the whole Otsutsuki history, where a Ten Tails receives Otsutsuki DNA but doesn't actually bear fruit. This is going to be very interesting. But now the question is, what do we expect from this new villain and Code? Starting off with Code, the real question we must answer is he really going to die? A lot of people, due to their hatred for Code, believe that Code will end up dying because of him enhancing or changing the Ten Tails. And there is definitely a lot of foreshadowing out there that could prove this theory. We know this to be the case because in the second chapter of the time skip, it seemed, at least to me, that Boruto was trying to save Code from this future. Even though he was quite stern and rude to Code, Boruto still wanted to give Code the opportunity to change, and he wanted to save him. But Code didn't want that. Instead, he continued and doubled down on his take. But for Boruto to be giving Code this opportunity, it very well foreshadows that there's going to come a time where the Ten Tails is going to take over, and the worst future for everyone is something that will also negatively impact Code, as Boruto believes that this future that is about to occur is even worse than Code planting a chakra fruit. So because of that, and because Code continues to go down this naive pursuit of his goals, he may very well end up dying trying to achieve his goal of becoming an Otsutsuki. However, I just can't see Code dying, and I know a lot of people might not agree with this take because Code never really got close to accomplishing his goal. The thing is, Code reminds me of a character like Orochimaru, not in the way that they have the same aura, because Orochimaru, back in the days, he used to scare me, but in the sense of the way they progress the story by the L's they take. Because if you look at Orochimaru and the way he achieved his goal, it would either be that he got very close to achieving what he wanted and never really ended up achieving it, or he did achieve what he wanted but then lost something as a consequence. For example, he killed the third Hokage and almost destroyed the village, but he lost the ability to use ninjutsu. He ended up getting Sasuke to join him, but he didn't take over his body, but instead he got absorbed. There are multiple instances where Orochimaru got close to achieving his goal. Code never really got so close to achieving his goal. So for Code to really be taken out of the story, I think he needs to get close enough to accomplishing his goal before then being removed and killed off. Either Code will end up doing so by using the Ten Tails, or he will get betrayed by his army but not end up dying. Because even though he takes a lot of L's, he always finds a way out and he doesn't die. So what do I think will happen to Code? I believe that he will continue using the Clawgrams, but eventually the Ten Tails and the Clawgrams will take over and betray him just like AI would do. However, he will not end up dying. He will lose everything yet again, but he won't die. And this will be the moment where Code ends up leaving as a villain and returns as a different force in the story. This is what I believe will happen to Code, so that the Karma Trio will now have to face this new threat. Code will have to face these new villains that he has somehow created indirectly, and Boruto and Kawaki will have to do the same. Boruto and Kawaki as Otsutsukis, and Code, who is trying to find his way to become one as well. This is what will happen to Code in my own personal opinion. However, when it comes to the villains that Code will indirectly give birth to, You have to watch this video right here to find out how that will take place.
That makes sense.
Pochita.
If you guys enjoyed that video, please leave a like, subscribe, and if you want any other video they want me to watch, please let me know down in the comments below. And that was a good video and explained a lot to uncover, because you know he's making sense about the technology taking over and Boruto warning code about it, but he doesn't want to listen about it. But you guys have a blessed day. Let me know down in the comments. Like I said, peace.